They tried to silence a voice. They thought by pulling a trigger, they could erase a movement. But what they didn't realize is that sometimes, when you strike down a man of conviction, you don't kill him, you immortalize him. Charlie Kirk wasn't just another conservative commentator. He was a spark that ignited countless Americans to stand up, speak out, and refuse to bow to the tyranny of political correctness. On September 10th, 2025, that spark was attacked. Brutally, gruesomely, violently. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, not because he was corrupt, not because he was a threat to democracy, but because he was a threat to the left's narrative. And in that moment, America was forced to stare at a terrifying question. How far will they go to silence the truth? If you're watching this, don't just sit back. Don't just scroll past. This is bigger than politics, bigger than red versus blue. This is about life, death, and the future of free speech in America. And before we go further, pause for 1 second. Hit that subscribe button right now, because in times like these, we need platforms that refuse to bend. We need voices that won't be canceled. And trust me, you're going to want to be here for what comes next. Charlie Kirk had been a thorn in the side of the left for years. They mocked him, they ridiculed him, they called him every name under the sun. But through it all, he never wavered. He stood for conservative values, for traditional America, for faith, for family, for freedom. He spoke with a boldness that many envied but few dared to match. And for that, they hated him. The radical left feared Charlie not because he was extreme, but because he was effective. He was reaching the next generation. He was building a movement that was bigger than one man. And when the assassin's bullet struck, it wasn't just a human life that was targeted. It was an idea. But here's where it gets darker. When news of Charlie's murder broke, millions of Americans mourned. People prayed, people cried, people asked why. Yet in certain circles, there wasn't mourning. There wasn't grief. There was laughter, there was mockery, and leading the parade of disrespect was none other than Jimmy Kimmel. From his Hollywood throne, he smirked and joked, taking cheap shots at the memory of a man who could no longer defend himself. Imagine that. A late-night comedian who never had the courage to debate Charlie Kirk when he was alive suddenly finds all the courage in the world when Charlie can't respond. That's not comedy, that's cowardice. And let me tell you, Americans noticed. If you felt disgust rise in your stomach when you saw Kimmel's mockery, you weren't alone. Because there's something deeply sinister about laughing when your political opponents are killed. That's not politics anymore, that's barbarism. That's savagery. And if we stay silent in the face of it, then we are complicit. But not everyone stayed silent. One man, love him or hate him, rose up with fire in his voice and steel in his spine. That man was Donald J. Trump. While the media tried to downplay the assassination, while the left tried to laugh it off, Trump said what millions were already thinking: enough is enough. Trump made it personal because it was personal. Charlie wasn't just a conservative commentator. He was part of the broader fight for the America First movement. And when the left cheered his death, Trump knew this wasn't just an attack on Kirk. It was an attack on every single one of us who still believes in this country. Before we go deeper into Trump's response, let me ask you something. If you believe in honoring the memory of patriots who give their lives for truth, then drop a comment right now. Charlie's voice lives on. Type it. Let the world see it, let the algorithm push it, and let's make sure that even in death, Charlie Kirk's voice gets louder. Donald Trump didn't mince words. He didn't tiptoe like so many politicians do. He called out the hypocrisy. He called out the sickening glee of the left. He reminded America that when conservatives are silenced, mocked, or murdered, the mainstream shrugs. But if it were the other way around, the outrage would burn across every news channel, every headline, every front page. That's the double standard. That's the game. And Trump wasn't about to let it slide. He thundered against Kimmel's disrespect, against Hollywood's arrogance, against the left's cruelty. He told America, this is not just politics, this is spiritual. This is moral. This is war. And here's the part the left doesn't want you to hear. There are whispers, loud whispers, that Charlie's assassination wasn't random, that it wasn't just some lone wolf. There are speculations, chilling ones, that this was orchestrated, that the same forces who laughed after the fact may have had their fingerprints on the trigger, that his death wasn't an accident of fate, but a strategy, a calculated strike to silence one of the boldest conservative voices of our time. And the more you connect the dots, the harder it gets to dismiss. If that doesn't send shivers down your spine, I don't know what will. Because it means we are living in a time where standing for truth can literally cost you your life. Think about that. This isn't just about Charlie Kirk anymore. This is about every single conservative who dares to speak, every voice that dares to resist, every patriot who refuses to kneel to the left's agenda. And if you're watching this video right now, that includes you. Yes, you. That's why I'm telling you, don't just watch. Get involved, subscribe, share, turn on notifications. Because if they could silence Charlie with a bullet, they can silence us with censorship. And the only way we push back is together. Trump's response wasn't just about defending Kirk's memory. It was about drawing a line in the sand. It was about saying, we will not be intimidated. We will not be mocked into silence. And we will not allow the left to turn America into a place where free speech is punished by death. For millions of Americans, Trump's fire was a rallying cry. It reminded them of why they supported him in the first place. Because when everyone else folds, Trump fights. And now, we must fight too. Not with violence, not with hatred, but with truth, with courage, with boldness, by refusing to stay silent. That means telling Charlie's story. That means calling out Jimmy Kimmel's disgrace. That means supporting leaders who will defend us, not betray us. That means standing up, even when it's unpopular. And it starts right here, right now, with you. Hit the like button, share this video, and don't leave without subscribing. Because every like, every comment, every share, it all chips away at the walls of silence they are trying to build around us. Charlie Kirk's assassination wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of a chapter written in blood, but carried forward in fire. The question is, will you be part of it? Will you help make sure his voice echoes louder than the gunshot that tried to silence him? Will you stand with Trump, with truth, with freedom, with America? Or will you let the laughter of the left drown it all out? The choice is yours, but know this, history is watching. And so are the patriots of tomorrow. So let's end with this. Charlie Kirk may be gone, but his voice lives. Jimmy Kimmel may laugh, but history will judge. The left may scheme, but truth will rise. And Trump, love him or hate him, reminds us of one thing that cannot be ignored. America is worth fighting for. If you agree, then let your voice be heard. Comment below. Share this story. Subscribe now. And together, let's ensure that the legacy of Charlie Kirk doesn't fade into silence, but roars into eternity. Because they tried to kill a man, but they awakened a movement. And this movement, it cannot be stopped.